I noticed that there are quite a few posts about the deep web here, and even though it's against the rules to doubt anything written here, I still find a lot of the stories doubtful. As someone who has spent years on the deep web, primarily to get drugs and use anonymous message boards, I want to clear up some things surrounding this. Before I start, I don't recommend you use the deep web. Even if you find some sites that work, most of the more well-known ones are either inactive or shut down. I don't recommend getting too deep into it. You will get addicted to the deep web if you keep using it, because the deeper you get, the more you know. The more you know, the more you want to know, so on and so on. I would also like to say that the deep web consists of a lot of criminals, and you should not mess with criminals, so watch your step. Think about the deep web as a chasm full of water. Different fish swimming different depths. The deeper they are, the darker they deal with. There's no real official hierarchy, so take it with a grain of salt. It's based upon my personal experiences with the deep web, and the further down it is, the harder it is to access. Let's start off with step 1. Step 1. Drug dealers, weird porn, anonymous message boards, mostly without child pornography, arms dealers, stolen goods, prostitutes, etc. Not much to say here. Most of these sites can be accessed with a regular Tor browser. Step 2. Con artists and organizations roam here. When I say organizations, I don't mean Microsoft or Google, but extremists and larger gangs. Usually their message boards are either completely inaccessible or heavily secured, so don't bother accessing these if you're a layman. It's probably best to stay out of their business anyway. The con artists are people who make themselves out to be hitmen and contraband dealers. Either they're cops or just con artists who want you to waste your money on them. Actual hitmen are rare to come by on the deep web, and they don't roam around sites that can be accessed by a regular Tor client. Trust me, I've done my research. Step 3. Light kitty porn message boards and gore sites. Now this is where you should definitely just fuck off. Don't go there. The kitty porn message boards is people trading pictures, selling and buying for bitcoins or other cryptocurrencies. Mostly Bitcoin though. From what I saw, it was less about abuse and mostly just naked children. Now the gore sites aren't like Live Leak or Best Gore, but everything ranging from HD, talking professional photography, torture movies to cell phone pictures of people getting beaten up. It might now not sound bad, but it contains very twisted stuff. There's a category of gore dedicated to skull raping alive humans. This is where they drill into the victim's skull and then fuck their brains until the person dies. When people go missing, they might end up here, I imagine. It's mostly brown and Hispanic people doing it. Seems to be a low abundance of white people on the site. I imagine that the ones that are there are unlucky tourists. Now, if you manage to figure out how to get here, I have one piece of advice. Avoid posting anything unless you really know what you're doing. The people on gore boards are ruthless, and you really don't want to mess around there. Watching is fine, but be quiet. Step 4. Hacking boards, passworded boards, and hardcore child pornography. Illegal services like legit hitmen also roam here. So this is where you are very careful. Hacking boards are usually pretty locked, but the more open ones tend to discuss how to create effective malware and good hacking software. For someone with a somewhat tech-savvy background, I can assure you that these guys are definitely professionals. I have no idea what the closed hacking boards spend their time doing, but imagine it's based around organizing huge hacking attacks and so on. Nobody has any idea on what goes on in the passworded boards. It is theorized that they are child pornography forums, or that they are boards linked to open boards. Hardcore child pornography is usually pretty self-explanatory. Usually it involves penetration, but not actual abuse. The adults in the video seem to love the children more than they hate them. It's kinda like a Pornhub for pedophiles. I don't really condone that shit, but with the amount of shit I've seen on the deep web, I'm starting not to care. Hitmen are very obscure and very strict. So if you want to place a hit on someone, you do it exactly like you tell them to. And if you don't, they won't do it. Step 5. Now this place really takes the cake. It's nearly impossible to access for a layman. And I won't tell you how to do it. It doesn't use onion addresses. All I say is that other people from the subreddit have been there, apparently. Don't trust that they're just regular people. There are streaming links similar to twitch.tv, however much laggier and has way simpler layouts, dedicated to abusing people and animals in strange ways. Most of the rooms I've been in have been relatively cheap. You pay $50 to $100, about 0.1 to 0.2 Bitcoin, to have people tortured your way. The layout is pretty easy to navigate. You click on a stream, and you can pay to have it done. There's a 2-minute stream delay since it obviously goes through a lot of security to avoid getting busted. Like regular streaming sites, there are also popular streamers. These guys cost a whole lot more, but they also use higher quality gears and do more specific tasks. For example, there was a kid, around age 5 I'd say, who got his eyeballs cauterized with a blowtorch for $2,000, around 5 Bitcoin. Usually it isn't this expensive, but children don't grow on trees. So the streamers have to charge more for permanent damage. It works this way because if one person pays, let's say 4 Bitcoin for having a child's foot cut off, the next person who happens to have a foot fetish can't have his needs met in the same way. There's a website called Paul's Pressure Tank. The actual URL is different, so don't bother trying to access it. Whose name I will not mention due to safety reasons. Has created a pressure tank from scratch. It has a lot of features, the obvious being manipulating pressure, but it can be heated up of sort of like a brazen bull. For those who don't know what a brazen bull is, it's a bull made from brass with a hatch on top. The victim is thrown into it and the bull is heated up. The person is then roasted to death. Inside the tank there is a camera, and for a rather large amount of money, 2 to 5 Bitcoin, you can have a person, child, teenager, adult or oldie, no discrimination, killed in exactly your way. I don't know what it's capable of, but after seeing a person being roasted alive and another killed due to high pressure, I'm not interested in seeing more. It allegedly has sprinkles that can fill the tank with a liquid of your choice. Acid, water, piss, anything. But I'm not sure if this is true. This place also contains heavy R equivalents of child porn sites. If you want to know more, check out Heavy R and imagine that they're all children. This is only a microscopic part of the deep web, and there's much more to see, and there's much more I could tell you. I don't want to say any more at the moment since it's already very risky of me to post this on a public site. There isn't exactly a sea of people using these sites, and it would be very easy to find me if it wasn't due to the fact that I'm hiding behind a proxy. So I will just leave this here, and I hope I cleared some things up.